Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Normal is broke and common sense is weird, so we're here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network and the Fairwinds Credit Union studio, this is The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw. Next to me, Rachel Cruze, taking calls all hour about your life and money. We have Jim, who's in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jade. Hey, Rachel. How are y'all?
Doing good. How can we help today?
Hey, I've got kind of a weird situation that I want y'all's help navigating. I received a large gift of silver from a family member, and it was kind of given to me under the pretext of, hey, I really want you to hold on to this. I think this will increase in value. I told them that we're working baby step 2, and they would be like, oh, this is awesome. It's actually going to cover the rest of our credit card debt. But they really want us to hold on to it, and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate the situation.
Is it like hold it for safekeeping? Or it's a gift, but we don't want you to cash it in just yet. Which is it?
Yeah, it was more like it's a gift. We don't want you to cash it in. We think it's going to exponentially go up in value. And, it's funny. I listened to Dave talk about, not to collect rocks.
Well, when did they say you could cash it in?
There was a grandparent. So it was really you can hold on to this, or you can do what you want, but there was sort of a
strings attached to a degree.
Yeah.
Which is funny because about 2 days ago, silver went in the tank.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend I was debating about with silver, and then he texted. Yeah. He's like, "Well, not a good day for my argument." And I was like, "No, it's not.
No.
It went down."
That's funny.
Well, okay, so yeah. So I do think, having a gift with strings attached is not fair to the person receiving it because
Absolutely.
It's not really a gift at that point. There's an expectation. And I appreciate their sentiment. And I'm just wondering, I kind of think, Jim, honestly, I think you're an adult. And so I think you were given something, and you and your wife, are you married? Did you say you're married?
I am, yes. Yeah.
That you guys make a decision on how you think it would be best used. And, is it best to keep it because you never know, or, whatever this grandparent's saying, or for right now in your life, like this is what we're working towards to create financial stability, which is ultimately what this grandparent's wanting for y'all is financial stability because they think that this is going to, become something. So yeah, at the end of the day, Jim, and I feel like it sounds harsh, but I'm like, I think that, you're an adult, you were given a gift, and I think you guys use it as you best see it.
What you could do is you could let the grandparents know and say, hey, I know that it's your desire for us to keep this. For us, it'd be better used if we sold it. So if that changes, whether or not you want to give it to us or not, you could put that on the table and
That's a good point. Yeah.
Hey, if you'd like to basically revoke your gift back, knowing what we'll do with it, we'll be fine with that. But we wanted to be upfront with you that we would sell it and see what they say.
Yeah.
If you wanted to totally be above board, you're fine to do what you want now, but if you really wanted to take it to the next level, you could give them that option.
The only thing, I don't know if this changes at all for y'all, it really only affects my baby step 2 by a month and a half to 2 months.
How much is it worth?
It's worth about $8,000. We're chucking about $6,000 a month towards credit cards and consumer debt right now. So,
yeah.
Got to get out of it quick.
I know, it was good. That's amazing. So the time thing, again, if you weigh out what it's going to do to a relationship, that if you really think it's going to harm something, you're like, it's not worth it. And so for a month and a half of our sacrifice, we'll sacrifice an extra month and a half to keep this thing. And this sounds horrible too, Jim, but when, this person passes, and you guys look up in 10 years, I'm like, all right, we did this to honor Nana, but we are ready to let this go. It's not the end of to your point, it's not going to change your life either way. It's just a principle of we're going to put our efforts and our money and our time and energy into things that we think are actually going to be worth it in the long run financially. And this commodity is not. So,
Oh, thank you. It's a good question. I mean, we know gifts should be given. And for anybody who's thinking about giving a gift out there, if you're going to give a gift, give a gift. And
Yes.
it's okay. I think if it's something that's like estate planning, like a will or something like that, to have certain stipulations on something like that, that makes sense.
Like from a moral perspective or something. Like I don't want to harm my kids if they're, misbehaving in life, and then I don't want to hand them a bunch of money because that could magnify it. The things around that. But just this like kind of nitpicky, hey, I want you to do this, not that. It's like giving someone a whole life insurance policy and being like, I don't want you to cash it out. And you're like, yeah, but this is not a smart investment.
Right. Or even the idea of, I don't know, a family member, let's say a family member is struggling and you want to help with their rent. So you're not giving them cash, but you're like, I will pay your rent for you. I just feel like it is a interesting line to walk there, Jim. And I, for one, think that this is kind of more on the side of you should be able to do what you want with it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for the call. All right, Jessica's in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. What's up?
Okay. Hello. So to sum up, we are putting our house on the market next month, and our plan is to eliminate a mortgage by downsizing. If we can buy a home in the $350,000 to $400,000 range, we will eliminate a mortgage and all of our debt, and it will give us the opportunity for me to homeschool my kids.
Cool.
If we choose to do that.
What home, the home you're in currently, what equity's in it?
So we are putting our house on the market at about $680,000. It's on 15 acres. So our big downsize would be in land, not necessarily home size.
Gotcha.
What will you make on the sale? What will you pocket?
So we will pocket about $420,000 after closing costs and taking away the mortgage, which is at about $215,000. So if we bought a home in the $350,000 to $400,000 range, we would have $17,000 in like education debt / credit card. That it's all one. And so we would take that and pay that completely off. And then so we would kind of do, and we already have about $75,000 in a brokerage account.
Great.
That we use as our emergency fund.
So what's the question?
I guess if our head is in the right place of doing this, because it's kind of going out of order of the baby steps, but it would.
Because you're, in what way?
Because we're paying off our home early.
Oh.
Which is kind of baby step 6.
Well, what I would say is if you do this, obviously you're clearing your debt. I would save some money aside for a 3 to 6 months emergency fund. But other than that, that's it. And it really feels like it's in that brokerage account. Just pulling that out and having, since it's not retirement, having some of that liquid, I think is where you're going to want to do there.
Yeah. And Jessica, I would not sell a home for $20,000 of consumer debt. So if there's a bigger reason why, like what you said, that you eliminate a mortgage so that you can homeschool your kids and stay home, that makes sense to me. But I would not make this move for $20,000 of consumer debt. So if there's a bigger reason why, which I think you said there is, then that's great. Yep. And you're not out of order necessarily. I think you guys are doing awesome. So good luck.
If you're waking up tired every morning, you don't need more caffeine, you need better rest. And that's why Casper mattresses are engineered to help you sleep deeper and wake up refreshed. And this isn't just one George's opinion. Thousands of 5-star reviews prove it. Plus, Casper mattresses ship free and come with a 100-night trial, so you've got nothing to lose. Sleep is a must, and you deserve the best. So go to casper.com/Ramsey and use promo code Ramsey for 25% off mattresses and 10% off everything else. That gives you up to $1,200 off the Snowmax mattress, which is the exact one I sleep on every night. That's casper.com/Ramsey, code Ramsey. Exclusions apply.
All right, back to the phone lines we go. Charlie in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Charlie, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Thanks for having me on today. And I guess I may have kind of a complex question, but we'll just dive in and see what details are needed.
Sounds good.
So I'm calling on behalf of my wife and I, and we're in baby step number 2. We've been in it for a couple of years now. We started with $254,000 worth of debt. We're down to $145,000. But on our snowball, our next loan is kind of a sticky situation. So my wife, her last year of undergrad and all 4 years of my brother-in-law's college are consolidated into one parent plus loan.
Okay.
And so our portion of that loan, it wasn't really done right, but this is before we found Ramsey, and this is all before we even got married. But they consolidated it, and it was like, okay, and here's they took it, and since it was 4 years of his college and 1 year of hers, they just took the payment and divided it by 5, and that's what we pay. So we pay $211 per month.
Yeah.
And so our original balance for my wife's loan was $25,000. That's interest included. And so we had that cash saved up. But the problem is, my mother-in-law, I don't think they're trying to do the PSLF program and get it all forgiven, and there's still like 7 years left of that.
Yeah.
And so we don't want that. We have the cash to get out now.
Yes.
The problem is that they depend on our $211 per month to make the payment. And I guess my question today is probably more of a relational question of how, because, it's my mom or my wife's mom. So, we're going to have her talk to them because I don't want to be the mean old son-in-law.
Smart.
And I guess just some insight on what are some tips or something. Maybe my wife can talk to her mom about this, maybe
because the loan is in the mother's name, correct? Your wife's name is nowhere attached to this loan, right? So
correct. Yeah, we've double triple checked, and yes, and but morally they spit shake that we would pay it off sometime.
Sure, right, sure. And you have the money, the $25,000.
Yeah.
The longer this loan sticks around, obviously, the more interest it gains. So for you, it is smart to say, hey, if we have the money now, let's knock it out. You can give them the $25,000 that you owe. It's up to them if they want to siphon that out, $211 a month or whatever that is, or whatever they want to do. But what you do need to do is make sure that the same way it was a spit shake before, that you get in writing and just say, hey, we're giving you the entire balance of what we owe as of, February 2nd, 2026. And that way, no one can come back to it and say, hey, and then you give it to them and say, hey, if you guys want to do this loan forgiveness, that's fine. But any interest that accrues, that's up to you. We're ready to be out of this today. And I love the idea that you'll be the one, that your wife will be the one talking to the mother-in-law.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say, Charlie, is I would sit down with them, have a check. And the writing thing is so smart. It's going to probably feel really weird. And her mom's going to be like, what are you doing? But it's like, no, I'm just going to have the date, the balance of what is. And then tell the mom, and hey, mom, listen, I just warning that sometimes these programs do not go the way you think it's going to go. And if it's not paid off, this is what the interest will be. But we are not going to be on the hook for it, because if it was our loan today, we would be paying it off. Like, I would over-communicate it, have it in writing, give them the check. And to Jade's point, if they really want to just keep it, then it's like, okay, you do whatever you want with that $25,000, but we are done. And credit to your wife too. We take so many of these calls where there's like some communication when the child is 20 years old, and then you look 15 years down the road and mom doesn't want to pay anymore, or daughter's like, no, it's not really mine. I thought, it's really messy. So the fact that you guys are definitely above board in the sense of like, you are keeping your end of the deal, flawlessly.
Yes.
It's amazing. And so it's just going to have to be that communication of, here's the check. Let's sign this together, just so it's said out loud. And thank you, Mom. Love you.
And I'd even frame it up like the whole thing of, getting it in writing. And by the way, I'd take screenshots of the balance and everything, just everything. And the way I'd frame it up is, hey, I don't know about you, but sometimes over time, I can just forget details. And this is just for all of us, as opposed to I'm doing this to hold you accountable, right? Just the idea, everybody forgets what the balance was 2 years later. Nobody's going to remember the exact dollars and cents. No one's going to remember exactly what was said. So it's just an idea of we all forget details. It's easy for this to get muddy. For me to remember, I'd like to do this. And that way you're kind of putting all the onus on you and not being, you're not indicting them in any way.
Pointing the finger at them. How would that conversation go, knowing your mother-in-law and her relationship with your wife, like what we just laid out? How do you see that going?
Well, that's the worst part about it is that I was fixing to have a follow-up question, and this might be passive-aggressive, but I was wondering, getting it in writing, do y'all think it would be okay to get a cashier's check and get it put in the memo, maybe?
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because
absolutely.
Do it.
I worried about because when we first approached this, I was like, well, heck, we'll just go get it notarized and put it. But it makes it look like I don't want to make them look like bad guys for doing this.
No, it's not. It's just how these things are done.
Okay, yeah, and honestly, you asked how they would be received. I'll be honest, I'm worried that it might not that it'll be bad, but it'll catch them off guard just because there's a total different mindset there. I mean, debt is just a normal way of life for them and all that. I mean, me and my wife, we're first generation Ramsey people. I mean, my side of the family and my wife's side of the family are both the same, and so we're trying to get out of this where we can, fix our family tree, as y'all say.
Totally, yes,
and,
absolutely.
So I'm afraid, I'm not going to say it won't be received well, but
you're going to look weird.
Yeah,
it's going to be weird.
Also, because like I said, they firmly believe that it's going to get forgiven. Like there was a comment even made back in the summer. They looked up the loans and whatnot because we live 6 hours apart, so we vacation together, and we met them. And the comment was even said like, "Oh, how much left on that loan?" Because we talked about paying off our debts and stuff, and her mom pulled it up and was like, "Oh, it looks like 7 years," and the brother was like, "Well, it looks like you're in debt for 7 more years at least," and we're just like, "No, not really."
Yeah.
But so I'm not going to say it'd be bad, but it's probably going to be. It's going to have to be like a teaching moment, and that's going to be hard because that's her mom.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you do have to teach it. I think it's just I would keep it, and I know you're not the one talking.
Our values,
but I wouldn't even get into all that. I would say, hey, I was thinking back to when you pulled up that loan, and me and my husband. This is her talking. Me and my husband talked about it. I think we're ready to be done with it, and we looked at the balance, and based on what it is today, I think we're just ready to pay our portion off, and we'll give you a cashier's check so you can put it on there. But and you're not even talking about them. You're really not even talking about you. You're just letting them know you want to get out, and there's no detriment to them. And I think at that point, as long as they understand, it's at no detriment to them to pay this off. Rachel, I wouldn't even get into
the why
and what you should be doing. And
unless they ask, then you can elaborate.
Less is more, kind of. Yeah,
less is more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I hope it goes well though. But keep it short and sweet, clear. I always say kindness,
to be unclear is
to be unkind.
Yes.
Yep. So be clear, which helps with the writing. And I like it. And I like your advice, Jade, on, hey, this is for us and for our records and like what we're doing. And just so I can remember, because I sometimes can forget, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You can put that off a little bit on you. And I think that's fine.
And it's true. And it's also true. I mean, to remember what the dollars and cents are, because what I see happening in that situation is if for some reason on down the line, it doesn't get paid off, it starts to feel overwhelming. It could be easy to think, well, maybe they didn't pay their whole portion.
Yes.
Maybe,
or if
I remember it being,
And if you're tied in with a loan with someone else, the brother's loan is in there. And if he doesn't pay for a year because he doesn't have a job or something happens, you know what I mean? Like it
affects everything.
Starts to build. It starts to build a lot. So, Charlie, great question. And hey, great for you and your wife. And again, I kind of pointed out to the weird word, but it is how they're doing life and money. That's normal. That's what most people do. So when you come against that and you're kind of at this intersection of like, oh my gosh, we're butting up against normal, it's going to feel weird and it might be a little awkward, but you're going to get through it and then you're going to be fine. And I think you won't even think about it 6 months later and it's going to be great. True. So I think it's a smart move and excited for you and your wife. If you're looking for a more budget-friendly way to save on medical costs and stay true to your values, Christian Healthcare Ministries is a great option to think about. CHM is not health insurance. It's a health cost-sharing ministry, a biblical, community-based way for Christians to share each other's medical bills. That means no enrollment deadlines, and you can choose any doctor or hospital you want. That kind of freedom is big, especially if you're self-employed, between jobs, or you just need something that fits your budget better. CHM has been around for decades, faithfully serving the Christian community. And many members save hundreds of dollars a month compared to traditional health insurance. And that margin gives you breathing room when you're working the baby steps and trying to steward your money well. And right now, CHM is offering new members a 50% credit towards their first month of membership. Get started at chministries.org/budget and use promo code Ramsey. That's chministries.org/budget and promo code Ramsey.
So one of our favorite things is hearing people share their stories of how they're winning. And we just heard this from Claire in Winston. Quote, "This is me and my husband's third month budgeting with the EveryDollar app, and I'm amazed how much money we found. We went from feeling like we were living paycheck to paycheck to finding $3,500 extra dollars in margin every month to put towards our debt. We each had 4 credit cards and have been able to pay them all off, never going back. That's amazing, and you can do this too. You can take control of your money, you can change your family tree and live like no one else. Go download our EveryDollar budget app for free in the App Store or Google Play." Love to hear it. All right, Elizabeth in San Francisco, California is on the line. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me.
You bet. How can we help?
So my question is, how do I know if I'm heading past gazelle intensity into kind of the burnout space as it relates to paying off my debt?
Tell us more. What are you doing that makes you think you might be going too far?
Yeah, First of all, I never really learned how to budget. I'm a medical doctor, so I make good money, but I just got out of residency, and I have like about $600,000 worth of student loan debt and plus consumer debt. And knowing that I don't want to be in the space of paying debt forever, like I fully bought into the baby steps. I believe in the biblical principle. It's just I'm finding that when I get to the end of my paycheck and I'm having to wait 3 weeks because it's kind of I get paid on the 10th and the 21st. So between the 21st and the 10th, I'm like scrounging around for my last dollars to make it to my next paycheck.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And I'm really, yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out if I'm like paying too much aggressively because I have this goal in my mind of paying off over $100,000 of consumer debt by December. If I need to pull back a little and stop being so extreme.
Well, I'll give you some parameters. Something that you said definitely hit home for me, and when my husband and I were paying off debt, the feeling of having just a little bit of money in your account, I think that can be good, but are you budgeting a cushion just in case? Like if you're finding that you're going to the wire and it's causing you to overdraw or it's causing you to not pay minimums on other things, that's a red flag that you're just taking every cent and you're not planning for just like a basic cushion. But if you're telling me like, no, Jade, it's not causing me to overdraw, it's not causing stress and strain, I'm just using all of it, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I was overdrafting a lot up until October, and then I kind of like I hit rock bottom. My friend's an FPU coach. She was like, "We are going to do this." So now this is my first month doing my EveryDollar myself.
Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're putting the cushion. Yeah. What's your cushion amount?
I would say I don't have a cushion right now.
Okay, you need a cushion. This is coming from your friend who has done that, and the overdrawing, because it's inevitable, right? You budget. Zero-based budgeting doesn't mean $0 in your account. So if you're budgeting every single dollar towards debt and you're not putting a cushion, it is inevitable, Elizabeth, that something will come up grandma's birthday or just something that you forgot that will come out of your account and overdraft you. And then you're like, oh,
That's
dang
happening every month.
Yeah.
Yes, that's happening every month.
How much money are you putting towards debt?
So right now, just like in my minimums, it's about $2,000, and then what I'm paying on top of that is like another $2,000, so somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
Okay, because how much are you bringing in a month?
13 to 14.
Okay,
but I made grief-based decisions, like because of working in an ICU during COVID and getting PTSD. Like I was like, this has to mean something, and so I'm like standing in a $6,000 a month rent right now, and just paid off a $5,000 couch. Yeah. Then when I finally hit rock bottom, I was like, okay, I've made a lot of good decisions. I'm paying the stupid tax till I get out of this like lease.
When's
right
your
now.
lease up?
And yeah, my lease is up in January of next year.
Okay, so another year of you kind of have out-earned this. I don't want to say stupidity, but you know what I mean. The bad purchase. Yep. And like I said, luckily you have enough, you're earning a high enough income that you're probably not feeling it the way some others might feel it. But yeah. That's going to make a huge difference when you get back down to 25%.
Right. For sure.
Right.
Yeah. Have you calculated out? Because you have $600,000 in debt, you said. When you get that, when you get that $6,000 a month back in the budget, how quickly are you able to pay this all off? And I'm assuming your income will go up over the next couple of years.
Yeah. So right now, my income goes up about, I'm at 320 right now, and about 10K a year is my salary increase, and then I get about a 10K budget once I just started my job. I'm only 4 months in, but that's essentially where we're at. I've paid down almost 20K of my debt so far.
Okay. Just a question, and I'm sure you've run this out, but if you haven't, if you broke the lease, what would it cost you?
Oh, it's like 15.
15?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's 2 months of rent.
Yeah.
Versus
continuing to pay.
Yeah, $60,000.
Yeah.
I'd probably do that.
So should I save the money then to pay off? Okay. So instead of worrying about paying off my other debt, just like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would do that because think about it. If you can find a place that's, I don't know, 2,000.
I already
or
have.
18.
I already have 3. I already found like 5 places.
Seriously,
I search like once a week.
I probably would do that, Elizabeth. Yeah, versus being stuck in this, because that's what $66, almost $70,000.
Yes, that's a lot
that could be going towards this over time.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you saved $4,500 a month on rent, that's a killing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. I love that for you.
And I feel like you're motivated.
You are.
She's like, I already found 3 places. I found 3 places
I was an athlete in high school. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Say less.
8 years of non-gratification. I can do this.
Yes, Elizabeth.
Oh my gosh. Well, you make a great income. You have a crap ton of debt, which I know you feel, but you can. Yeah, you can do this.
I love this for you. Okay, so we've got a clear plan forward. There's way more margin coming up. I love that.
Yes. Oh yeah, I would do that.
So good. Okay.
Man, $6,000 a month.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So just for anybody who's listening for the first time, whenever we have people ask about their home situation, you don't want it to be any more than 25% of your take-home pay. And that's not just with mortgages, that's rent as well.
Yeah.
And the purpose of that is to make sure that you've got your income at your disposal to do the things that we teach, regardless of your baby step, whether it's, to be able to do all of it, to be able to save 15%. In baby step 4, 5, and 6, you can't exceed that, or else you'll wonder how is everybody saving 15%? It's because our mortgages and our rent is 25% or less.
Yes, yep. Which allows, again, so much of your income to be able to do so many things, whether it is paying off debt like where she is in baby step 2, or beyond that, what you're saying with investing in even kids' college, putting extra towards the house, all of it.
Yes.
But yeah, what I appreciate about her though is she's not like a typical, we see some people get out and they out of law school, out of, doing all the residency in the medical field, and they make $320,000 their first job, and that's a great income.
It is.
And
you want to feel it.
And you want to feel it. You want to go enjoy it, and you want, upgrade the car, get a nicer spot. Like, you just want to, all these things, you want to be in it. And so her, though, I could hear it in her voice.
Yeah.
Where she was like, no, I'm cutting, I'm getting out of this. Because it's crazy to think if she does this in 3-4 years, which is totally doable.
Absolutely.
At that point, she'll be making $400,000,
with nothing, with no debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's so true. And she did this with COVID. She kind of went back and revenge spend, which was a real thing. But it's true, when you make an income like that, or really anything, if you've worked hard to get what you have, you almost feel like it's a reward to be able to enjoy it.
Yes.
And it is. But if you've made mistakes, you've got to go back and pick them up and clean up the mistakes. And that's just part of it. And so I'm really proud of you, Elizabeth, for doing that. Call us back when you're debt-free. Matter of fact, come see us in Nashville and do your debt-free scream live.
One of the first things I discovered working in the financial world is how absolutely devastating it is when the breadwinner of a family dies and there's too little life insurance, or none at all. Grieving families are suddenly left behind, scrambling to pay bills and trying to make ends meet. I also discovered that there are a lot of rip-offs in the life insurance world, like that whole life crap posing as an investment opportunity. What you need is level term life insurance, usually 10 to 12 times your income, which is the smartest, most affordable way to protect your family. The key is finding an independent broker who represents a ton of companies and works for you, not for the insurance company. This is exactly what my friend Jeff Zander and his team at Zander Insurance are all about. They shop the term life companies to find you the best options, and they've been around for over 95 years. So they'll be there when you need them. Zander is the real deal, and that's why they've handled all my personal insurance for over 25 years. I trust them, and you can too. Visit Zander.com for instant online quotes, or for a more personal touch, give them a call at 800-356-4282.
All right, thanks for hanging with us. We're going right back to the phone lines where we have Amanda, who's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call. I hope you guys are good.
Absolutely. How can we help today?
Hi, so I need more of relationship advice. I want to see how I can maybe get my husband to be as intense as I want to be on step number 2. Or maybe how I can be less intense. We can balance out. He says I'm a little bit obsessing over money right now.
Okay, so he's viewing you as obsessive. You're viewing him as a little bit passive. Tell me some of the things that you want to do that he doesn't agree with.
So we have some crypto that I would love to take out so we can get through step 2 faster. And I know he was not totally on board, so I made different plans as to how it would look like or how long it would take to pay off our debt. If we took out the crypto, if we sold my car and I would get a cheaper car, or if we didn't do either, so we could compare the length at which it would take to get through step 2. And then he's supportive of going to step 2, but he was just like, you're obsessing too much over this. Like
he's not feeling the pain as much as you are.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to get through it. Like, you just need to calm down. Like, you're spending a little bit too much time on it. Like, you should focus on our family and our marriage instead of like looking at this.
Wow. Okay, let me go on that side. Does your marriage need attention? Is there other things that need more attention right now?
I would say maybe, we just had a baby. We have a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old right now. So I would say maybe we try to do date nights and stuff, at home, and we go out for dinners.
Okay.
Maybe like once a month or something.
Okay. So
I guess I can see why we could spend more time.
Maybe I would start by, I'm going a different direction. I don't usually go this. So maybe you could start by getting a picture from him of what that looks like in his mind. Okay. What does it mean for you? If I thought about what you said, what does it mean for you in your mind? What does it look like for me to spend more energy on our marriage? What does it look like for you for me spending more time on our family? Because I'd like to meet you where you're at, and then I'm hoping that we can meet each other where we're at. And so if you start by
wondering what that is for him. Yeah. Because I'm not saying this is you, Amanda, by any means, but we do have some people that are so hardcore that every conversation is around getting out of debt. Every purchase is looked at to like the nth degree when the spouse walks in the door and it's like, look, I saw this over here. And it's just like, it becomes so obsessive to the point that there's nothing else in life but this. And listen, we're all about intensity, right? Like we want you, but also you're a whole person. And so you are in a marriage, you are a mom, you have these other roles that you can't neglect. So on the extreme side, Amanda, where would you be with how I just described? Are you that person? Or are you like, no, I'm not that person. He just is way too passive and I'm not that crazy. What would you say where you are?
Well, I would admit I'm not like crazy obsessive, but I do want to get through the debt payoff. And maybe he could be a little bit more, I guess, because I'm the one that handles the finances. I would like for him to be on board and to not be the one that's like, oh, we shouldn't be spending on that. Or
you don't want to be the mom of him, right? Yeah, and giving permission of what he can and can't do and what we can and can't do as a family. We as two adults need to decide that. So there's a core issue there.
It's a big issue.
Yes, he's not in there with you.
Yeah. I like that. I think if I were in your shoes, my next step would be set up a date, like a date night. And the first date would be for you to learn more about what we talked about before. What does it look like in your mind for me to do these things? And then I'd set up another date and I would say, here's what I know you didn't ask, but here's a few things that I would like to see going forward. And I think if I do some of the things on your list and you do some of the ththings on my list, that's us meeting in the middle.
Yep.
And to do all of that around a date night, I think is a great way to be intentional. I'll just be honest. I, for one, like the fact that you're running different scenarios of if we did this, here's how quickly. And if we did this, and that way there's options. And I think maybe presenting it to him that way and saying, hey, what I don't want to do is make the decisions for our family. What I don't want to do is be the one saying you can or can't do this. So what I thought would work would be me bringing options so that you can decide. And that we can decide together and both feel good about it, as opposed to me saying, no, we're selling the crypto and no, you're selling your car, that sort of thing. So it just really feels like hearing the heart around the situation for both of you would be helpful.
Yeah. And I do wonder, Amanda, if you guys are just missing a point of connection. And this sounds like so simple, but honestly, I could see being in your shoes and feeling like I feel so isolated over here. I feel so much responsibility. I have a new baby. I have a toddler. This is up to me to make all these decisions about the household finances. I feel like I'm on my own. I don't feel connected to my husband. Like if I had a husband who was paired with me, excited with me, asked questions, was involved, had thoughts, maybe different opinions than me, because that's going to happen.
Fine.
But at least there's a connection point, and I feel a level of connection where his level of connection, Amanda, maybe be something totally different, right? And so figure out what that is for him, like what Jade's saying. So I think there's like kind of this missing element of, you could be functioning more like roommates and you're the CFO and, you know what I mean, doing this role all on your own versus it being a marriage and we're in this together. And what we both need may look different, but let's say that out loud so that we at least hear each other. And that's the part of marriage is that you're not going to be the hero to your spouse's story by any stretch of the imagination, but you can at least choose to step into those things.
Absolutely.
And I do wonder if that would help you, but because he does need to be part of these decisions with money. It does not need to be on your shoulders, Amanda, at all.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
and you're
thank you.
probably and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep talking because
No,
I
okay,
bet
thank
you
you.
feel the stress though because you're seeing the numbers day in and day out, and he's
That's
not.
right.
So
And-
he doesn't feel it as much as
Yeah.
you.
And that
Yeah,
I
and
do
I'm
want,
like,
go ahead.
oh, we have this much left for our grocery budget, and he'll be like, okay, he's supportive of that, but I'm the one that has to like remind, like, hey, we have this much in our account, we don't want to use our savings, or
Yeah, you're
Things
wanting
like
to get, you just want help and you want 50-50 on this. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I truly don't. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. I don't think he's wrong for saying what his needs are. I think you guys just need to really talk about it and don't leave anything out. Just be honest and see where that leads. Do you think you could be honest with him? And if so, what do you think his response would be? Do you think there'd be any change?
yeah, I think I could be honest with him. The thing is that we used to do finances together, but I told him I didn't think I could trust him with the finances because I feel like it would be unnecessary expenses. So then that's why I felt like I had to take over the finances.
Because you feel like
Interesting.
he spends too much on unnecessary things. Is that what you said?
Yeah, maybe.
So you wouldn't
Yes.
trust his methods.
Maybe not, yeah.
Okay.
I
So
guess, yeah, he
it's a
says that
philosophy.
I have it in my mind that I wanted a specific way with the finances, but I feel like it's just sticking to the budget and not purchasing what's not necessary.
It sounds like you both have two different philosophies. It sounds like for you, getting out of debt's really, really important, or finding this financial security, whatever that means for you,
Yes.
is really, really important, and you're willing to really sacrifice to get it. And it sounds like for him, debt is not as big of an issue. Therefore, why be intense about solving it?
You are definitely correct, yes.
Okay. So that's a whole different conversation, I think. Because if he doesn't mind debt, then you pushing to go harder, he's like, why, right? It's just like a moot point for him. So the conversation needs to be, here's the way I'm feeling. Here's what this debt is making me feel. Here's my philosophy on debt. Where can we meet in the middle? Where can we align on this? Because the baby steps, they're not there to be the stumbling block for a marriage. They're there
to be unified.
unified. And if it's causing so much friction, then you have to take steps back and go back to almost the precipice of where you guys went awry, and spend a lot more time having those conversations, getting aligned before you start any actions on the baby steps.
Tax season is coming up fast, which means a lot of you are paying more attention to your money and maybe realizing the holiday damage. So if you're trying to clean up the budget and start the year strong, cutting your phone bill is an easy win. With Boost Mobile, keep the phone you love and pay just $25 a month for unlimited data, talk, and text forever. No contracts, no traps, just predictable savings that help you stay in control. Switch now at boostmobile.com/Ramsey. Restrictions apply. See website for details.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio. I'm Jade. This is Rachel. We're headed back to the phone lines where we have Matt, who's in Orlando, Florida. Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm good, and you guys. It's very, very nice to talk to you guys, finally.
Great. How can we help today?
So basically, I have racked up around $26,000 in consumer loans, and unfortunately, I have the immigration situation with the lawyer and everything, so I had to put a lot of money, so a lot of loans towards the credit card. And I just want to know what should it be the best if I go for a debt relief program, or I pay the highest first? What do you recommend that I should do on this situation?
Well, I wouldn't go to debt relief simply because they're going to take all of your payments and pool it. And then in the time that you're not paying it, they're going to use that as leverage to strike a deal for you. And you really don't need them to do that. That's going to tank your credit. If you wanted to do that on your own, you could really do that on your own. So I would not get involved with a debt relief program. The $26,000 that you mentioned, is that everything? That's including the immigration lawyer fees and everything, or is there more to speak of?
No, it's everything.
Okay. And how much are you earning right now?
Around 55, 60,000.
Okay, good. Is it just you, or do you have a family? Are you married?
I'm married.
Okay. Go ahead, Rachel.
Well, I was going to ask, how many credit cards does this consist of? The 26,000.
It's 6 credit cards.
6 credit cards. Do you know the balance on each of them?
The American Express around 10,000. The other credit cards around 3,000.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we would tell you is to list out the debts smallest to largest, and actually regardless of the interest rate, and pay minimum payments on everything, stay current, but attack that smallest one first. And so what I would do, Matt, is if you guys can up your income, I mean, even if you can get, if you could find $500 of margin, $1,000 of margin a month, and then maybe work extra and you get another 1,000, some of these 2,000-3,000s you could be paying off every month. Do you know what I mean? As you go down the line. And that's what's powerful about it, is you start actually knocking some of this stuff out. And then those payments that you were paying on those roll over to the next debt, right? So the $300-$400 a month you're paying for minimals, now that's paid off. So that's an extra, could be $2,400 going to the next one, right? So you kind of keep that snowball effect going. But that's going to be the fastest way, the most efficient way for you to tackle these. So no, I would not pay a debt consolidation company. I wouldn't go to a debt relief company. I wouldn't try to combine the debts into one thing and take out a HELOC or whatever, right? People maneuver their debt around so much. The best thing for you guys is to take these 6 credit cards and you and your wife sit down and say, how fast can we pay these off ASAP? And it's 26 grand. So you can do this. I mean, I really do. I mean, if you can get $2,000 a month, you know what I mean? You got to pay it off in a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just have a feeling that every month that I pay, I usually pay a little bit more than the minimum. So every time I pay $200 and it comes back interest $200, so I'm just paying the interest basically.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm moving a step forward, but not exactly.
I hear you.
And it's going to feel like that on all of the debts that you're paying the minimum on. The one that's going to feel that you're making progress on is the smallest debt. So just know that until everybody's going to have to be on hold at the minimum until it's their turn to be the smallest debt. Because in that smallest debt, you're paying it off lickety-split. So just for real numbers, after you pay the minimums on everything and, your household is taken care of, how much extra money do you have every single month to put towards these debts, to put towards the smallest debt?
I would say $500, $600.
Okay.
I could put more, but then that's I leave money out of my pocket in case of an emergency or something.
Okay, so what we need to make sure is that you have $1,000 saved as an emergency fund, so that you don't have to be worried about that month in and month out. If you have $1,000 saved, that's what we would call baby step 1. And that way that's there. You don't have to think about, what if I have a flat tire? There's money there. And then secondary on your every dollar budget, which by the way, if you don't have an every dollar budget, Christian will pick up after this call and make sure we set you up with it. I want to make sure you have a cushion line item, meaning that you're budgeting a certain amount of money every single month, just as something could happen. I don't know what, but maybe it's $50, maybe it's $100 that you just keep in your account just in case, maybe a subscription slides through that you forgot about, so that you just feel good about the money that you budgeted for debt actually going towards the debt.
Yeah. Matt, do you have $1,000 saved right now?
No, not really.
Okay. So that would be the first goal, is to work towards that. So it may take you 2 months to do that. But in all of this, we want it to be really aggressive. So almost say, could I do this in a month and a half? Could I do this in 1 month? What do I have to do to get this $1,000 as quickly as possible? And again, it's probably going to mean working overtime, getting a side hustle. But this is all, Matt, for 9 months. You know what I mean? You're not going to be doing this forever and ever.
Right.
And you're right. These credit cards, because are these interest rates in the 20% or higher even, some of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's terrible. It's horrible. So the faster you get out, the better off you're going to be. Where some people can hold on to a student loan because it's not high interest, and they don't really feel it. You feel credit cards, credit card debt, you feel. So getting out as fast as possible, Matt, is going to be your goal. But I see a way out for you guys. I mean, I really do. And even if your wife can take a part-time job and her, even bring in an extra $500 a month or something.
Absolutely.
That stuff helps. That stuff changes the
game. Let's take a moment. I feel like this is the second or third call, and I want to just kind of go back to basics on debt payoff. So first things first, you got to have baby step one. You got to have the $1,000. I have tried it without it back in the day, and it didn't work because to his point, Mark, to Matt's point, you're worried about, well, if I put all my money on the debt, what if something happens? That's what baby step one is there for. So guys, you have to have baby step one in place. Next thing is the cushion. You got to have, a cushion is not an emergency fund. It is not a slush fund. It is strictly there in case something that you forgot about comes out. And a way to think about it is, what's the worst that could come out? I don't know. If you still have Amazon Prime, what is that, like $120?
Right, and that hits, or a Dropbox subscription or something hits once a year.
So think about maybe it's $150 if you're getting out of debt, and especially if you have, when I say lower income, if you're kind of in the average income, you're making 60, 70, $150 extra, that's a great place to start for a cushion. Now, if you're making a little bit more, you might need a little bit larger of a cushion because there might be larger things that come out. So you need the cushion. And the next thing is just understanding that when we talk about the debt snowball method, I've been noticing this, Rachel, when we say smallest to largest, it's by balance. It is not by payment due. Okay. I've been noticing people are doing it by payment. And I'm like, no. Balance. So the full amount that you owe, that's how you're listing them. You got to pay the minimums. Because I've done this. You think, I don't have to pay the minimums. I just want all the money going at the smallest debt. No. Please pay the minimums. It is thankless. I will just go ahead and say it doesn't feel good, but please do that because it's going to keep those debt collectors off, and it is going to help keep the interest at bay. Okay. So please do it. And it's going to give you more motivation to go quickly through the debt snowball. All the smallest money goes to the debt. So that's just a little refresher for you to get yourself right if you haven't been doing it right up until this point. Well, Dave, on the show all the time we get calls about cars, used cars. What's one thing you want folks to know?
Well, really a couple things. Number one is always buy used unless you got $1 million. We don't buy new cars. And if you're going to buy used, number two, you want it to last. And that means regular, proper maintenance.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I know when Sam and I moved from South Florida up to Tennessee, that's the first thing you're looking for. You need somebody who can take care of your car. So when we found Christian Brothers Automotive, it was a no-brainer, and they've been absolutely great.
We're excited to recognize Christian Brothers as the official auto repair partner of The Ramsey Show. Christian Brothers keeps things simple, honest, and transparent. Every repair is backed by their nationwide nice difference warranty. 3 years or 36,000 miles, whichever helps you more.
Listen, Dave, I'm first to admit I'm not into cars like you are, but the thing about Christian Brothers is I feel just as confident going in there. They're not trying to upsell me. I feel 100% confident that I'm going to get the service that I need.
Hey, if you want your car to last and stay on track with the baby steps, trust Christian Brothers. Go to cbac.com/Ramsey to find your local shop, schedule service, and get an exclusive Ramsey discount, 10% off your visit, up to $250.
Yeah, that's cbac.com/Ramsey. See store for details. All right, back to the phone lines we go, where we have Anna, who's in Greenville, South Carolina. Hi, Anna. How are you?
Hi. So I'm calling today because I just need some advice on what to do with the money that I just got from the sale of my home. So I'm a single mom of 3. Got divorced a couple years ago, but the house it was a nightmare, but it just sold in September. And so after I got the money off of it, I ended up making a little over $100,000 off of it.
Oh, great.
I took the first thing I did is I went and paid off all my credit card debt because I had a lot of debt from the divorce process.
Okay.
So I have no credit card debt at all.
Good.
No. The only two things I still have on my credit. One is our student loans. I'm about $45,000 in student loan debt. But I am a teacher in a Title I school, so I am on the public service loan forgiveness program, which I know y'all speak about still trying to pay that off because, those can be complicated. But I have talked with someone, and I'm on the right path. I've been paying on it for 5 years. And then the other thing, I owe about $8,000 on my vehicle, but I have tax money coming in that should be more than enough to pay that off. So right now I'm renting because that was the only option I had until the house sold that I could afford. And, it is easier. However, I would really like to be able to buy a home to where I feel like I'm investing in my future for me and the kids instead of renting. I kind of feel like I throw a little bit of money away, and I know that that's not fully the case because I'm not having to worry about fixing things, but I'm pretty handy. I can fix most things myself. So I guess my question is, I don't think I'm quite ready because I'm not sure where I want to buy a home at the moment, but based on interest rates in today's economy, for me to have a home big enough for me and the kids, I would have to put $100,000 down on something just to get the payments to where I can afford them.
Right. So, Anna, out of the $100,000 that you got, you said you paid off all your credit card debt. How much of that is left?
Oh, it was I ended up with $112,000. So I took that 12. I still have $100,000.
Oh, wow. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. That's great. So, what we would suggest, I think you probably know our answer to a degree of what we would do with this $100,000. If it were me, I would pay off the student loans in the car today. And then I would look to say, okay, you'll have around 40-ish, 48,000 left. And I would take that, I would put it in a high yield savings account, and I would just be making it a goal to be building that up, because part of that 45,000 that's going to be left, is that right? No. I'm sorry. The 45,000 was your student loans. Yeah. Well, I guess it'd be around 45 or so that you'll have left
once you pay the car off.
Yeah. Part of that's going to be earmarked for an emergency fund, and then start saving on top of that, though. And it may take you another probably 2 years, Anna, of renting to be throwing some money at this to be able to get to a spot where you're going to be able to buy the home that you want, and to have, we always say to have at least a 5% down payment. What percentage, when you say I would need at least $100,000, is that to get your payment to 25% of your take-home pay?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Because a 4-bedroom home in my area, you're not going to find one under $300,000, and for me to be able to afford the payments per month, I need it to be at least $200,000.
Yep. So a couple of things in this. Number one, it may not be a 4-bedroom home. 2 of the kids may share a room. I shared a room growing up and a bathroom. You may decide, hey, I'm going to value home ownership more than just the comfort of what, my kids space-wise, right? Some people make that decision. Some people don't. Some people say, no, we're going to save an extra year to make sure we get really what we want. But there can be decisions you make along the way. I just don't want you to ever feel locked in that I have to get this type of house in this specific area. This has to be it, right? I would broaden the horizons just to see if you're wanting to get into the house faster, or maybe you have the patience to save another year or two.
Yeah, I 100%, Rachel, agree with your plan, and I wouldn't change it at all, and I would make it my goal. If possible, the best way to do this is on a 15-year, so I'd make that my goal too if it's not already your goal. But the biggest thing that's going to give you peace is having this debt gone and having that 3 to 6 months of expenses really between you and life, especially with 3 kids, is it's just a breath of fresh air to have that. So I like the goal. I like that you have $100,000 cash, but that's exactly what I'd do with it.
Okay. Yeah, at the moment I have the money in an MMA account that's gaining 3.5% interest. I really don't know much about the high yield savings account.
Is that what the $100,000 is in?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So same thing. It's in a money market account right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Money market and high yield are pretty much
same
the same.
idea.
Yeah. So that's where I would keep it. I wouldn't invest it because I think, you're going to use this money probably in the next 3 to 4 years. And if it's anything longer than 5, you could think about, a brokerage account or an index fund or something that would probably make some more. But if you're going to be using it in the next 3 years, I would just keep it in that high yield and just keep saving on top of that.
I would too, especially knowing that really a portion of that is technically your 3 to 6 months after you've paid off this debt. Having it liquid is a good place to have that as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. Good question. All right, let's go to Braden in Philadelphia. Braden, how can we help today? Braden, are you there?
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
No worries.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? How can we help?
So, I'm calling today because I've been doing the baby steps, but I've been doing, I guess, Ramsey-ish would be the word. It's kind of not working out so much. I'm kind of like still paycheck to paycheck, and I've been budgeting. And so I just had a couple questions about some debt that my wife and I are in, and again, my income up, because there's a couple options. I have a 2-year degree from Penn College, and pretty much I could go back for 4 years, or I could do an additional 2 years and have a bachelor degree in engineering. I'm not sure how much that would help, but I don't want to take out student loans on that either.
So you're facing an income problem, and you're thinking changing careers is the situation, is the move?
Yeah, I mean, it would be more so the same field, but a different job. It'd be more engineering than like technician work.
Okay. Do you know what it would cost you to go back to school, and how much more would you earn by doing that?
It's hard to say. I think each semester is around 12 to 15, and it'd be another 4 semesters.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how much more I'd earn. Really depends on the kind of live in an area. I'm a little bit outside of Philadelphia. So
Okay.
I don't know what kind of work would be around here for.
So I think that's where you've
much.
got to start. Anybody who's looking to switch career fields, and especially if you're looking to pay for school in order to do it, you've got to do that initial research to find out, number one, if I go back to school, what's the earning potential there? Do I have a potential to earn just $10,000 or $12,000 more, or can I double my income? And then from there, it's like, okay, if I feel like the jump in income could be worth going back to school, now I have to go back and say, okay, how much does it cost, and where can I go that's the least expensive route? How long would it take me to save? And then you're able to weigh out those really important factors. So I think you have a little bit of research to do there. I'm guessing that you're feeling this because you guys are in debt. Am I right?
Yeah, we got a kid now. We got another one on the way, which we're both super happy about, but it's kind of...
Yeah, how much debt do you guys have?
What it's going to be. I think, quick math, around 37, I think.
Okay. Is that cars, credit cards?
We have a car on there, a few credit cards, a personal loan.
Okay.
And that's actually debt, not including our house.
Okay. Yeah,
so
Braden, I hear you. We're about to go to a break, but I would say to you, I would encourage you and your wife, sit down tonight and just say, if we went scorched earth and did this Ramsey thing the real way, what would this look like to get us out of this mess? Because it's just kind of floating around. And then I would make sure, too, before you're even talking about school, you need a hard fact that you need a degree in order to get these other jobs, which you may, but I would want to know black and white, like, yes, you absolutely have to have this 4-year degree in order to have this job, and this job you're going to make $40,000 more. That's when you know it's a green light.
Most people just drift through life with their money. No plan, no budget, stuck on autopilot. But winning with money is intentional. That's why I love Fair Winds Credit Union. They've built tools for people who don't want gimmicks or games. Their Smart Bundle includes a high-yield savings account to help your emergency fund grow, and their Spend Smart checking account won't nickel and dime you to death with fees like other banks. Plus, it comes with the Ramsey Be Weird debit card, which says debt is normal, be weird, right on the front of it. It keeps you connected to your budget, and every time you use it, it's a reminder. You control your money, not the other way around. Fair Winds Credit Union is for people who are serious about taking control of their money. So if you're ready to stop drifting and start building wealth on purpose, open your smart bundle today at fairwinds.org/Ramsey. That's fairwinds.org/Ramsey, insured by the NCUA.
So if you've kicked debt to the curb, you deserve to celebrate on the Live Like No One Else cruise. Hang out with Dave and the Ramsey personalities on March 14th through the 21st, 2027 in the Bahamas, Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and Cozumel. Cabins are limited. Save up to $300 off when you book by February 7th. Click the link in the show notes or go to ramseysolutions.com/events to book your cabin today. All right, that's exciting. I can't wait for that. We've got fun. Yeah, I know. We've got Taylor, who's in Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, I'm so excited to talk to y'all. Thank y'all for answering my question.
For sure. How can we help?
Okay, so I need y'all to help me solve a disagreement between me and my husband about how much to spend to upgrade my car.
Yes, we love a marriage disagreement. Give it to us.
Y'all are perfect to help me with this.
We can do this.
Okay, so a little bit of background. We are on, I think, baby step 4. We don't have any debt. We're 28 years old, no kids. We don't have any debt other than our mortgage. We have a small mortgage. And we recently inherited $100,000 from my grandpa.
Okay.
And so of that, we're trying to figure out how much we want to spend to upgrade my car. And it's definitely it's a want, not a need. So I'll preface with that. But my husband wants to spend, if anything, around $25,000, and I would like to spend up to $50,000.
Nice. That's a big difference.
What kind of car are you looking at, Taylor?
Well, that's the hard part. We really can't look at cars because we're at such a difference on price that it makes it hard. What we've kind of decided on is potentially maybe a Volkswagen Atlas. But of course, the year really depends on how much we're going to spend.
Yes,
Understood.
for sure.
And of course, I think he's being frugal and he thinks I'm, kind of spending too much. And so we're just kind of at a disagreement and at odds.
Totally. Okay. If the upgrade of the car, is it, let me ask this, the current car you have, are you like, I'm going to have to upgrade at some point, probably in the next year or two? Or is it like you both have fine cars, but you're like, hey, we got $100,000 and I enjoy a nice car. Which one is it?
Well, he drives a very nice truck. Okay. So I'll say that we don't own it. It is a business truck. So, it's not something that we own. I drive a Mazda CX-3 2017. It has about 100,000 miles on it. So it could definitely go for the next probably 3 more years.
What would go? So whether you spend 25 or 50, what's the plan with the other money? Like, does it keep you from doing something else?
Not necessarily. We don't have kids, and we probably plan to in the next couple years. And so I think my husband is just like, we could spend that on the house to pay it off or on other investments. In the next 2 years, we're going to have probably a lot more expenses than we do currently. And he just feels like seeing it grow.
Yep.
And I mean, he just sees that big number and is like, wow, we could do so much with that, which I totally understand.
What's left on the mortgage, by the way?
Around $200K.
Okay. And how much do you guys make a year?
$200K.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
you make 200. Yeah.
So you probably know our parameters on this. Have you heard of it?
Yes. So nothing more than 50%?
Yeah. So we always say that things with motors, really, the whole family combined, shouldn't be any more than 50% of your take-home pay.
And Taylor's at 25?
Yeah, he's at 25. And I mean, you could go up to 100.
No, I was going to say, no, she's at 25, like wanting 50,000, right? My math's right. If you make 200,000 a year and she wants to spend 50,000, that's 25% of the take. So she's way below.
She's way below.
Yeah.
Like even with his.
He's at 12%.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You guys have $100,000 window to fill. And so
in cars.
And so you have
Okay,
enough
but here would be the deal. I would say, in order to feel good about you spending 50, let's say he loses his job and he needs to go buy something. Could he buy something for 40 to 50 that he would feel good about?
Well, he works for his family's business.
Yes. Well, no, I'm hypothetical though, because
hypothetically, yes.
If he could, then together you guys are under the 50% rule. If you have a $50,000 car and he has a $50,000 car, you're at $100,000 of cars making $200,000. Does that make sense? So like you're good.
And you're saying as long as he'd have the ability to do what you're asking to do.
Yes. Yeah. To stay within those parameters, then because again, God forbid he loses a job, and
needs a car.
And he'd need a car. Could he do it within the parameters of the 50% total household of vehicles? And he could. He could buy a truck.
But do you take into account the inheritance at all, or do you just kind of ignore that and think about
how you got it? Yeah, no, I kind of ignore it.
That's just a cherry on top. The fact that you didn't have to save up for it.
Yeah, unless something in the inheritance says that they want this to go for your future kids' college tuition or something, you know what I mean? And you're going against and you're like, oh gosh, that feels weird to do that. Yeah. I mean, Taylor.
I'm saying yes.
I'm saying yes. I'm on your team, Taylor.
Team Taylor.
He's going to love this.
You know what? Maybe say 45 to give them like a little bit of a buffer. 48.
Yes.
But seriously though, research the cars, because what you want and the year, you may find like, oh my gosh, I can totally get that for 43 and I'm great with it. You know what I mean? So the research is going to help too. I think bring some of this, just the idea, because and I understand like, golly, swallowing the pill of $50,000 to a car.
Well, is it used or is it brand new?
Used. We would buy used.
Okay, just double checking that.
Yep. Yeah.
I am a green light.
I think you called the right day, Taylor. If you got George Camel, I don't know what George would say. But
I think he'd say yes.
Would he say yes?
I say yes. So the key is now you have to get your husband to listen to this episode.
Exactly.
I know. Yes. And you got
to, and y'all agreed.
And you're married to him though. So there's, you committed your life to him. So there may be a little give and take, but we would say yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Congratulations on the new car. Oh man, I love a call like that. Those are my favorite calls when we get to get in the middle and decide
and we
with
get to
them.
and when we get to say yes to people, because I feel like so many of the calls, it's like, dude, you got to sell the car.
Yes.
You can't go on that vacation. No, you're broke.
Yes.
You don't have money. You can't do that. I feel like that's a lot.
It's not fun.
So when we get to say yes, because it's it's fine.
Well, and I think it's a good reminder, because a lot of people forget that we want you to be able to live like no one else.
Yes.
Obviously, we're telling people all the time, hey, cut back, pull back, get a beater. And it's really great to understand that these moments happen to every day.
Yes.
Where even if it's not an inheritance, maybe you've just worked really hard and now you have the money
or something. Yep.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to do this. And just the reminder, I think it's good to go back and remind folks who might be listening for the first time, we're sticklers about this, obviously, because cars go down in value. I mean, you said it. You drive a car off the lot, it could drop 30% so quickly.
In just a year or two. Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially like with EVs now, they're very, it's huge. And so the parameters are there really just to make sure too much of your world is not going down in value. That's so important. And so, 50% is the rule. And then I asked her earlier about if she was buying a brand new vehicle, because we even have a parameter there that really you should have a net worth of $1 million before you purchase something outright, because again, brand new vehicles drop in value so quickly. And I've heard Dave say, you really want the feeling that if I took that amount, that value that it was going to drop, and I just put it in the street and burned it, I would feel nothing, right? You don't want to be attached to it in that way. And so that's kind of their parameters, their guidelines, and they're there for you guys. Just to help you.
And whenever you get a big sum of money too, we didn't really touch on this earlier, but really, we always say there's 3 things you can do with money. You can give it, you can save it, you can spend it. And I think doing all 3 in a situation like this, I think is important. So, if we were still chatting with her, I probably would tell her, hey, take some of this, give a little bit of it.
That's true. Yes.
Put some in savings for the future, spend some on you. Like, there's a 3-prong to this money stuff. And some seasons you're going to be saving more. For something, for a down payment, for a house, or whatever it may look like. Some seasons you're going to have tons of generosity flow through you and you're able to do a lot, which is amazing. And then some seasons you're going to be able to enjoy your money. So it doesn't have to be like a equal split between the 3 every single time, but just be aware that that's how money flows, and it should be flowing at some level of all three of those buckets.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. I love it. Congratulations on the new car. I hope that your husband gives you zero problems because we agree with you wholeheartedly. Today's question of the day is brought to you by YRefi. Defaulted private student loans don't fix themselves, but they can be fixed. YRefi helps you by refinancing defaulted private student loans into a low, fixed-rate payment that fits your budget, so you can clean up the mess and move forward with a plan. Visit yrefy.com/Ramsey. That's the letter YREFY.com/Ramsey. May not be available in all states.
Today's question comes from Jenna in Michigan. She said, your podcast inspired my husband and I to start the baby steps, and we have made so much progress. I'm expecting our first baby, and we'll be having a baby shower soon. As a new mom, I feel pressure to get the nicest, which means most expensive items, so my baby can have the best things. With all the talk about how there are so many items you need, what advice would you give a new mom wanting to be smart financially, but feels the pressure of needing to get the new things her friends say are important? Oh, that's a great question. Well, you asked two moms, so we can we can attest to this. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like people go crazy on the first baby. You're about to have a shower, so I would say register to your heart's desire.
Yes.
You know, put stuff on the registry, see what you get. And then I know the money coming out of our pocket, where we spent the most, and we did. We invested in a good stroller and a good car seat, because those things lasted through 3 kids. And if you know baby stuff, toddler stuff, I mean, stuff gets beat up constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So we did. We bought the nice, we did. It was a very, very, very nice stroller car seat set. But everything else we went cheap on, to the high chair, the crib, like all of that stuff, like did not, it was the thing, like what's going to get the most wear and tear that I would want to keep for the next kids, right? So it's like kind of, that's how we made that decision. Yeah. So I think it's the two things. I think it's being practical and buying the most expensive items sometimes is worth it because it is the nicest and it's going to last you. And then, but then the other side of that prong is the keeping up side of feeling like you have to keep up. And let me tell you, you're going to buy something and then 6 months later, they're going to come out with a better thing of that. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. And all the crap that is out there. It is like, I swear it's like the wedding industry. Mm-hmm. The baby, I mean, people
it's like billions of dollars.
Spend so much. So I would not feel the pressure. It's easier said than done. I mean, just saying this over a microphone, I know it doesn't help you, but I do want to relieve, like, once you get past it all, you don't even remember. Like, you don't even think of like, oh my gosh, should I get the best bottles or pacifier or whatever? You know what I mean?
I will say our stroller, I wish I had made a different choice to this day.
Did you? Did you buy a nice one, but you didn't like it?
It was, and it was the one everybody recommended. Okay. And I honestly didn't do a ton of my own research. I just went with what was recommended, and I hated the stroller. But I'm with you, Rachel. Sam and I picked like 4 or 5 things that were really important, and they obviously happen to be the most expensive ones. Yeah. But when we put them on our registry, we kind of had the idea that, you know, most people probably aren't going to get you a $500 gift. Right. So we kind of knew we'll probably be on the hook for that, or maybe we could use our gift cards towards those things. But we kind of knew, like, we'll get the expensive stuff likely, and everybody else will get all the other doodads. But the best thing I bought, and I want to hear what you think the best, the sock, the owlette sock that goes on their foot.
I don't know.
It measures their breathing, so you don't have to like worry about like, oh, is my baby okay? Right? Like that's the main thing that I would get up in the night to just be like, I just need to make sure that they're fine. Yes. But it measures. It's a little thing that goes around their foot, and it grows with them in infancy, and it measures their O2 and like. Yes. And it goes off if for some reason they've rolled over on and they can't breathe.
Yes.
So,
oh my
best
gosh.
purchase ever.
Yeah, peace of mind. I don't even know if they have. I'm trying to think. I don't even know if I knew that.
Yeah.
That we had that. Yeah.
Maybe back in your day.
I know. I was like, I don't know if they had that. I know. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, but there's so much crap. I feel like that they just, it's so marketed too. So just make a decision.
And they don't care.
Go to consignments for clothing. That's what I did too. I found a few places in Nashville that did consignment. That's where I bought so many of the kids' babies.
The baby
clothes.
is none the wiser. Make the things that make your life easier. That's what I'd say.
Yes. Amen. Hallelujah.
All righty. Craig, who's in Salt Lake City, Utah, is on the line. Hey, Craig, how can we help today?
Well, I've got a business, a construction business, and over the last couple of years, I've had a couple of jobs that have went a little south on me, and I've taken out a business loan from my bank, and I've also got a cash flow to ride the incoming, outgoing, and my overhead during between payments. Well, over the last couple of years, I've managed to get myself about $240,000 in debt, and my payments on the cash flow in the business are about $4,600 a month. And we took out an equity loan on the house to pay down some of it. But right now I'm sitting at about, with all my bills, everything, I'm about $9,800 a month to just cover my overhead. And we owe just under $300 on our house. It appraises for just under $600. And I'm wondering if it would be a good idea to sell the house and pay off this debt, or whether I should just keep trying to pay it and make headway. Or I'm worried that if I sell the house, now I got to buy another one, and I'm not going to get, my payment is only $1,800 a month.
Well, how much was the home equity loan? Like, how much is that going to cut into the $600 that it's worth?
Well, it was $109.
Okay.
For the home equity loan is what we got.
And you still owe $300? Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's about $400,000 in debt. So you'll net out around $200.
Yes.
Okay, so walk us through the plan. Is the plan to take because if the plan is to take whatever equity, maybe you walk away with 170 after all of this, I don't know. What's the plan with that 170? Is it to clear business debt? Is it to roll it into a less expensive house? What are you thinking?
Well, my lease payment on my shop space is about $2,400 a month. And so I would take this, if we sold the house, I would take this and clear the business debt. But I still have to have shop space because I have a bunch of equipment that I need to have running to stay in business.
Can you clarify for me, when you said earlier that you had $240,000 in the business, is that including the $109 of the HELOC, or is that in addition to?
No, that includes that.
Okay, so it's $240 total, or is it $349 total?
Yes. No, $249 total with the house loan and the cash flow and my business loan.
So you would take the 170 and you would throw it towards all of the cash flow loan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're able to keep up with the payments. I mean, it's tough, but just those two, the business loan and the cash flow, is about $4,400 a month. My business, I mean, I'm able to generate that, but I've had to let a lot of the employees go because I had to
cut payroll,
increase my overhead.
Yeah.
And so now
Craig,
I'm doing everything myself. So.
Is the business, do you see it having an upward trajectory, or is it flatlining? Is it going down? Where do you project revenues to be in the next 12 months?
Well, I stay pretty busy. I average, I don't know, I would probably average in the next year maybe 200,000 in volume.
So it almost feels like you grew too big too fast, like you created a world that you can't sustain. So
yes,
you selling your house is making a huge, I mean, you've already taken out a home equity loan. If you sell your house and then turn around and take the equity and run it back into this business and it's still not even fully clearing the debt. I'm afraid of that because it's only going to clear out some of the cash flow loan. You still have this business loan over here that has, how much will be left?
Well, we figure after the sale of the house, I would have probably about $40,000 in the business loan, and that would be the only loan,
So unless
that I would need to pay
I
off.
would sit down with your wife, and unless y'all had an aggressive growth plan to get a house again in the next 5 years, but man,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this business. I might sit down with somebody who could give you some input on how the health of the business, and maybe get connected to our Entree leadership coaching and see what they tell you about this business, because I'm not convinced you need to keep it. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio. I'm Jade. Next to me is Rachel Cruze. We've got Lauren, who's on the line from Tampa, Florida. Hi, Lauren. How can we help today?
Hi there. So my husband and I are expecting our first baby come spring, and we're trying to decide whether I will keep working full-time, move to part-time in a different role, or step away from the workplace totally. So we're just wanting some help weighing the risk versus reward of one, leaving the workforce, and what to do to reduce the hours for a season, kind of just all that comes with it.
Totally. Well, congratulations. So exciting. What would be the main motivation for you to change? Is it anything money related, financial related? Is it just your longing of, wanting to be a working mom or not be a working mom? What's pulling you the most?
I think the main thing is leaving a baby with daycare for 5 days a week seems really, really hard. My husband he works in law enforcement, so he's on 12-hour shifts, right? And he might be moving back to night shift come, springtime when the baby's due. And so that's also kind of a factor. Could I be solo parenting for days at a time while he's working night shifts and then sleeping during the day, and then I'm having to do overnights and daycare and all that on my own.
That's a lot. Ooh. Where are you guys at financially? Could you live off? Okay.
Yeah, we have no debt. We just our mortgage. We could live off of one income. Right now we invest pretty aggressively. So a little bit more than $2,000 a month into retirement and a brokerage.
Okay.
So
is that 15% or is that more or less, or do you know what percentage that is?
It's more than 15% of our take home.
Okay.
What do y'all bring home a month?
Per month, we bring home about a little bit more than $9,000 between the two of us.
Oh, yeah, that is more. Okay.
And what would it be if you stopped?
Well, that's a good question. So I'm currently full-time engineer, and so I haven't had the conversation yet with my employer of what part-time would look like. I know I could not stay in my current department, so I would have to either switch departments within the company and take a pay cut to go part-time, or just leave the company altogether and find a different part-time role.
What does your husband make? What's his income of this $9,000?
Well, he makes about $96,000 a year, and I make $94,000 a year, so
okay, about
pretty
half.
Split.
Yeah. So could y'all live off of $4,500 a month? Comfortably, mortgage and food, and you guys are in a good spot.
Yeah, mortgage and food, but we would have to really decrease our investing.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the good news is you're in a really great spot to just choose. Your back is not against the wall. There's nothing that's demanding attention. Financially, you're doing very, very well. And the biggest red flag is usually, can we afford the mortgage like this? And I'm just curious, if you went down to $4,500, I know you'd be working part-time, but just curious, what is your mortgage every single month?
It's about $1,800.
$1,800, yeah. I think that with you even bringing in a little bit, you'd be okay. So,
do you want to work, Lauren, or do you want to be home?
I think ideally I would like to work part-time just to be able to contribute financially to the family, but then also have time at home with littles, because they're only little ones.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's the great thing that I feel like I've learned in this of having 3 kids and working is different seasons are going to bring different things, and it's okay for you to make a different decision. So I feel like sometimes women feel like I have to make this call and it's going to be my life forever. And that's not the case. That doesn't have to be. You know, you could choose, hey, I just want to be home full time. That's great. And then you may get in 6 months in. I had a friend just like this, and she's like, I'm going crazy. Like, I want a babysitter so that I can go and like do something and just to like, and to use my talent. She was really talented, and she missed that part of her. She, you know, she really did feel like there was something God has given her, and that part she didn't have. And so she's like, I kind of wanted to do both. And so she figured out a way to do both, but she changed her mind, right? Or some people say, I'm going to go back to work, and they get in. That happens a lot here at Ramsey with some girls, you know, they have a baby, and especially your first, you don't understand how it feels. And you think, I'm going to come back. And then you get back in the swing. Yeah. And you're back in, and you're 6 months in, 9 months in. You're like, I hate this. I want to be home. Guess what? You can quit and do that. You know, so like, just know, because of this financial situation you guys are in, which is such a blessing, what a gift, is that you can make a different decision. So, you know, if your knee jerk right now is, hey, I think I do want to work part-time. Yeah. Start talking to your employer about that and start making plans around that. And then, Lauren, give yourself permission that if you're in the 6 months and your husband's working night shift, and, you know, and life is just hard and exhausting, and you're like, man, I just want to be home and do the home thing. You can make that decision, you know? It's not an all or nothing.
Yeah.
So
now, what about like leaving the workforce? Like, I guess one of my fears is leaving the workforce as a woman for a period of time and then not either making as much as I make now, or like, I guess never being as professionally leveled as I am now, like if I am to leave and then come back.
Yeah. I could be wrong on this. So Jade, if you have a different opinion, I think that is something that to a degree we've kind of like created this fear in our heads to feel like we can't have an off ramp. So we have to go. But I know many women who have off ramped a career for 4 to 5 years and get back in when the kids are in school. And it takes a little bit to get back in, but like they do it, and they've been fine. Now, that may not be the case every single position or every single company. But for me, that fear of it not being an absolute, there's not like a law, you know what I mean? It's more an idea that can happen.
Yeah.
That would not be my motivator, because it's not a hard fact. It's a fear that's not always realistic.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what field you're in. It could be something that if you're keeping up, like if you're just keeping up, whether it be certifications or you're just keeping up with new improvements, you know, how that particular field is shifting, just being in the know could help. And there's a big part of this where there's also the assumption that, okay, let's pretend you're a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, right? And you're thinking, oh my gosh, after 10 years, will I really be able to get my old job, right? Be in my old field. Who's to say you would even want to do that type of work? So even you changing as a person to saying, hey, I may want to go back to work, but not necessarily what you were doing before. So also giving yourself the ability to evolve in the career space and maybe have a completely different act and do something totally different.
And what the world's going to look like too in 8 years, you know, is wild.
Yeah. So to your point, the fear part there, it could really be unfounded, because careers could change. You could change.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lot to think of. Like, this is a huge choice. And hopefully that Rachel and I just gave you a couple of thoughts just to push you in a direction.
Yeah.
But it really is a big choice.
Yeah. And you're never in a corner though, right? It is a big choice, but we have multiple choices you get to choose from. You know, any given month, it's your life. You know, you get to make that call.
And none of them are none of them are for life. You always,
that's right.
You always get to go
seasonal.
back.
It really is. It's so seasonal. Like I know I pulled back some after I had Charles, because I had 3 kids under 5, and I was like, I can't do the travel I'm doing. And I did pull back, and I watched people have books come out that hit higher than mine. My podcast, when I saw other people's shows do better, and you kind of sit on the sideline for a season, and now that they're all fully back in school, I'm like, oh my gosh, I like have the ability to do more. And it's great. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not saying my situation's exactly going to mirror every single person, but that is what so many working moms I talked to when I was just in Lauren's position before my first, that's what they always said. It's so seasonal. And it is. After being through a couple of these seasons with kids, it is. Life is so seasonal as a mom. So give yourself permission to be presently where you are, because I really do think that's where God and the Holy Spirit has you.
If you've been working the plan, paying off debt, saving, and changing your family tree, I'm proud of you. And if you're in baby step 4 or beyond, it's time to celebrate. The Live Like No One Else cruise is back March 14 through 21, 2027. Join the Ramsey personalities and me as we sail to Half Moon Cay, Cozumel, Jamaica, and Grand Cayman on the ultimate debt-free vacation. Cabins will sell out just like last time. Lock in yours with a $600 deposit at RamseySolutions.com/events.
One of the best things to do for your finances is to have a really good tax pro in your corner that you can trust. They'll help advise you on the best moves to make for your situation or for your small business, especially if you've had some big life changes in the past year. Go to RamseySolutions.com/tax pro to find CPAs and enrolled agents that have been vetted by the Ramsey team. Very, very good. All right, we've got Mark, who's in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hi, Mark. How can we help?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. What's up?
Hi, so my wife and I bought our first home recently, about a week ago. And the thing is that the seller had agreed to fix a few items from the inspection report. And we've taken a look at the fixes, and we've had a few issues going on this week. And we're not really sure we have any recourse that we could do or anything that we could do after closing on this house now.
What are we talking about? Tell me what the items are.
So the sump pump was not operational.
What's not the pool? What'd you say?
Sump pump.
Oh, sump pump. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. The sump pump was not operational, and they agreed to replace a sump pump, which they did. They did replace a sump pump, but in doing so, they did not connect the pipe properly. And the day that I went, the day that I went right after closing, there was water flowing everywhere, and it damaged the flooring of the basement. And then we also have a garage door situation that they put on a new door, but they half-heartedly did it because there's still the old tracks and the old pieces from the old door.
They used some crappy person to, that did crap work on the repair. Yeah, it's in the contract, right, for it to be fixed, and they didn't fix it, and it's not fixed. So yes,
enforce that.
Absolutely. And it's just been a week, right, Mark? It's not 6 months.
Yeah, it's just been a week, so that's what we're wondering.
I would talk to your realtor and go back. Yeah, and absolutely. You have evidence. Did you take pictures?
Yeah, I took pictures and I took videos. I sent it to my realtor, but it's just been crickets on that end. So
from
your
realtor?
Sure if someone's scared. Yeah, from our realtor. So I'm not sure if they're just busy or they're just scared.
They're not wanting to be bothered.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
I'd show up. Do they have a place that you can show up to?
It's about a 30-minute drive though, but we're willing.
I'd show up at their realty office and say, hey, I've been working with Bob and I just closed on my house and this is part of my contract and it's not been done. And I've been trying to contact Bob and he's not answering my texts or my emails or my calls. That's what I'd do.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Is it likely we'll be able to recoup anything?
Yeah, it's in your contract. That was a part of the deal of this being a fair deal, and they did not do it.
And if they don't do it in the next 72 hours and answer, you're going to have to get it fixed. And when you get it fixed, you're going to bill it to them.
Mm-hmm. Along with a letter from your lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in your contract to fix it, and they didn't fix it properly. So they have to go back and fix it. So, that you definitely have a level of recourse. Now, is there a world that nobody answers your call, Mark, and everyone disappears and you can't find anyone? Is it worth pushing legal action? At that point, you'll probably pay more in lawyer fees than to fix it, right? So there's
a point.
There's a world that, you end up just having to fix it yourself. But I would go to every single measure possible to get this, because that's so unfair. Just to do a crappy job on the fix, just to say to check it off to get the contract through.
Yeah.
So
terrible. Yeah. The worst part is having to spend the time and the effort and the brain power on this. Oh, sorry you're going through that, but thank you for the call. Next up is Katie in Dallas, Texas. Hi, Katie.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I'm 44. My husband's 46. We currently only have $80K left on our mortgage. We have no other debt. We are interested in purchasing a newer home, bigger, more desirable area, which would leave us with a newer mortgage of about $250K after about a $250,000 down payment. And I'm just wondering if this is financially smart. I think number-wise it's doable. However, emotionally it feels a little bit more challenging to move forward with this.
For sure. How much do you guys make a year?
Close to 200.
Okay. How quickly could you pay the 250 off, do you think, if you if you guys said, okay, paying off the house is a priority to get this mortgage down, how quickly do you think you guys could do it?
Honestly, I don't think it would happen very fast, maybe 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
What do you have?
It just feels,
Go ahead.
It just feels like we wouldn't be able to, I'm going to say, build wealth as far as contribute more to the 529s, more to the 401ks doing this.
What percentage are you doing you're doing retirement now? Are you doing 15%?
My husband and I are each both doing 10%.
Okay. And how long, what do you have in there? What do you have in retirement so far?
About $550.
Okay.
So that'll double. Yeah. I mean, that'll double every 7 years. So you guys, I think, will be fine at retirement. And people that are doing, the baby steps, on average, they pay off their home in about 9 years. So let's say that's you guys, then you'll be, your husband will be 55. You'll be 53 with a paid off house. So I think the numbers, I don't think it's absolutely terrible, but big purchases like this, I always want to check my spirit in it and ask the motivation of it, right? Is it to be closer where you guys want to be? Is it for the schools for the kids? Is it?
It is in a newer neighborhood, a bigger home, kids in the neighborhood that are friends with kids, my kids.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, I mean, that doesn't absolutely scare me. I just want to make sure you guys as a household can fund 15% of your income into retirement. And I don't want the kids' colleges to go on complete pause because you guys wanted a newer, bigger house, right? So from a legacy perspective, I do think there is some level of saying, hey, we are going to have to contribute and make sure the kids are good with college and do this. Can we do both? Because choosing one or the other feels... maybe a little off.
And I also ask myself the question, because when I look at this, my brain goes immediately to, oh my gosh, you only owe $80,000 on your mortgage. Now, I'm just throwing this out there. The question I'd ask myself is, if our house were paid off, would I still be interested in getting at that point, maybe a $200,000 mortgage on a house? Or would I be like, no way, my house is paid off, I'm good to go? That'd be the question that I'd spend a lot of time with. And you might be like, yes, Jade, I am ready to go.
It does seem like we're almost towards the finish line, yet we've been looking at houses for the past decade.
Okay. How much is the house? How much is your current house worth?
About $280,000.
Okay. And what are you guys looking to upgrade to?
The sale price is $495,000, but we would put down about 55%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you guys are fine, Katie. I mean, as long as, again,
mess you up.
Yeah, as the payment, no more than 25% of your take-home pay, so that you guys can invest in retirement, kids' college, all of that. So it may be a season of decreasing lifestyle a little bit. Yeah, and pulling back from, I want the household to be investing 15%, and you guys are at 20 right now. So just be thinking about that. So pulling back will help with this, and to hopefully maybe get it paid off sooner. But yeah, with your ages, income, what you're putting down. I mean, they're putting down 55%.
Yeah.
Like, I think
you're doing everything right and above right in that perspective. The biggest thing is making sure, and I'm assuming that you guys already do have some sort of emergency fund in place, but making sure you have the right amount of emergency fund, because now with a bigger house payment, that amount needs to go up to match that new lifestyle, obviously. So just some little things to keep in mind. I love that you mentioned the 529s and making sure that college is still a priority, because very, very important. But other than that, I'm like, let's go.
It's great.
Welcome to 2026. Last year is officially in the rear view, and you're fired up to finally make some changes with your money. New year, new goals. We love it. But let's be honest. Old you said the exact same thing last January and the January before that. And before you know it, those money goals fizzle out faster than the fleeting flavor of LaCroix. So here's the truth. New Year motivation only gets you so far. You need an actual plan. And the good news is you don't have to figure it out on your own. Every dollar builds a personalized plan based on your goals and your real life, and it actually coaches you to stick with it. Plus, the Every Dollar app will help you find extra money hiding in your budget. And trust me, there's always something hiding. The average person finds $3,015 in the first 15 minutes. That's basically like giving yourself a raise and a much happier new year. So don't let future you down. Make them proud. Go download the Every Dollar budget app and start for free right now.
So just a reminder, so much of what we teach here is not just to make your life difficult by saying that you need to cut back on your budget or you need to sell your car. The whole purpose of this is so that you can live like no one else, so that you can achieve financial peace. And of course, that does translate to numbers. The hope is that you'll become a baby steps millionaire. And a baby steps millionaire is simply someone who has, used our teachings, the baby steps and all the methods associated with that, and they've achieved a net worth of $1 million or more, which when you think about a net worth equation, guys, it's what you own minus what you owe equaling $1 million. And so we actually have someone on the line who has accomplished that, and we want to celebrate them. We have Kelly, who's from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, on the line. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, how you doing, Jade?
What's going on? $1 million.
Nothing.
Tell us more.
Net worth of $2.4 million.
Wow.
And I'm 57 years old. My wife is 49, and we inherited $0 and 0 cents.
Amazing.
So every bit of it we've done ourselves.
Incredible.
Wow.
What's the 2.4 consist of?
Okay, it's I got $1 million. We got $1 million in retirement. I rolled over a TSP. I was in the military.
Okay.
And then her 457. We got Roth. It's mostly in index funds. There's a little mutual funds in there.
Yeah.
And then non-retirement, we got our emergency fund of $30,000, and then we put $260,000 in high-paying dividend ETFs. My wife is really into that and is paying dividends.
That's great.
And then we've got $890,000 in a brokerage account.
Wow.
And then our home, which we paid cash for in 2015, is worth about $200,000 now.
That's amazing.
Well done, Kelly. That's amazing.
So what kind of work do you both do? I mean, you mentioned the TSP and mentioned the military. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm retired military, and my wife is still working. She's a nurse.
Okay.
So she's been able to work quite a bit of, overtime is always there for her.
Yeah, that's always one of the top careers we hear from people that achieve a millionaire status is, in the medical field in that way. Okay, so how long have you guys been married?
We got married in, let me think here, 2006.
Okay, great. So what would you say? Maybe not as a married couple, but as a while working, what do you think the worst year financially? How much did you make? And then what was your best year? And same with her, if you know off the top of your head. I'm just curious.
Well, when we first got married, she wasn't working because she immigrated here. So
okay, yeah.
I probably made probably like I was making $40,000 a year.
Okay.
And we were deeply in debt. I was deeply in debt. Take that back. So
so you brought most of the debt into the relationship?
I brought all the debt.
How much?
You know. Oh boy, how much did I have in debt? Back then it was probably I had student loans, car loans, personal loans. I had it all.
Yeah.
I mean it was probably close to 90,000.
Wow. So going from a negative net worth, building it up to 2.4 million, what would you say the key? What were a couple of things that you did that you were like, this was a game changer for me?
I think the game changer was realizing that I had got myself in the mess, and it was me that's going to get myself out of the mess.
That's so true.
Right?
Yep, the personal responsibility aspect of it, that you're going to be the thing that changes it. Yes.
And then, I mean, obviously, you've got the spouse. That's such an important part, your partner, in accomplishing all this. I mean, what would you say to the person? I mean, we get calls all the time who they're trying to decide, should I marry this person? Or maybe they're newlyweds and they're trying to figure it out. What advice do you have for that couple?
Oh, for a couple? The one thing is you both have to have the same principles and values. As far as money goes, if someone just doesn't mind being in debt and doesn't plan and doesn't set goals, I think that's a red flag, because it's going to be a one-sided marriage, and you're going to be carrying the burden.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you never gave us the top number. So the lower number was around 35. What did you guys get up to in order to accomplish this?
Well, it's probably just recently, because with our dividends, and that's one thing that changed, was the Robert Kiyosaki book. When I read that, and it said that the wealthy don't work for money, their money works for them. That's what we've been able to do, is increase our income by passive income. So now it's about 150,000.
Wow, way to go.
Well done.
Way to go.
But during just your working lifetime, did you guys ever break $100,000, would you say?
We did towards the end of my military career, but that was only within maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. See,
that's what's 100,000.
That's what's impressive. And I think what a lot of people need to hear is that, your income is powerful, right? It helps, but you don't have to be making $300,000 a year to become a millionaire.
Absolutely.
You could be making under 6 figures, right? Just like Kelly, you and your wife did. But it's the diligence. I mean, the amount you guys have in investments, whether it's ETFs or, your retirement, you have almost $1 million in retirement. I mean, all of that, that stuff adds up. And it's just the consistency and the diligence of what you guys did. Again, you guys weren't making $300,000, right? Yeah. You barely even hit 6 figures, but that's only in the last few years. That's not what created it. It was the consistency of the investing and you guys being wise and paying off your home and all of it. So
absolutely.
Well done.
So well done. Right. And just curious, what role did the budget play for you? Were you budgeters, or how did you do this?
Well, the budget is we tracked every expense. I mean, we really were diligent. We really were intentional. And I've known a lot of people, like you said, they make a lot of money, but they're broke.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, basically we made sure that we paid ourselves first. Like they always say, we put money into our investments first. Mm-hmm. And then what was left, that's what we used to pay our living expenses. So if we had to cut back on certain things, we did.
Yeah.
But we were buying our freedom is what we were doing.
I love that. Mm. Well, well done. Well done, Kelly.
Well,
and
you.
To your wife as well. What's her name?
Her name is E.G.
E.G. Well done,
Mm-hmm.
Kelly and E.G. You guys are an inspiration. And what I really, truly love about your story is that so many people think if you walk the baby steps, you're gonna be an old man by the time you're a millionaire. And I just love that you guys are young. I mean, you've got your whole life in front of you. And you've got, like you said, you bought your freedom and you've got your time back. So well done. Thank you so much for calling in and encouraging everybody. So good.
Thanks, Jade.
You bet.
Thank you,
You
Rachel.
bet.
Well done, Kelly. Well done.
I love a call like that, Rachel, because it's so inspiring for people to actually see what's possible if you lock in.
Well, and especially him, right? He's 57, so we'll make up an age of when he started all this. I think he said it was about 20 years ago, right? So he's 37, $90,000 in consumer debt. And it just shows that you can still make the change, right? Wherever you are, you can still make the change. And he went from nothing, a negative.
Yes.
Deeply in debt, nothing. No one gave him a handout, as he said, like no inheritance.
Zero inheritance.
But it's the consistency of what you're doing day in and day out. And, we're not as blunt to say like, you have to do retirement first before lifestyle necessarily. Sure. We are big on like, you want to give, save, and spend.
Yes.
And so, but that idea that my future's worth it, that I'm gonna make that the priority, not the lifestyle today. That's a different mindset than most people. Most people, they want to feel good today, right?
Yes.
And I get that, right? But at what expense?
Yeah,
at what
agree.
expense?
And what it is not sacrificing what you want most for what you want now in the moment.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think the number one advice that I give to people is, guys, the time is going to pass anyway. If you're 30, one of these days you're going to be 50. And if you're 40, one of these days you're going to be 60. And what you do with that 10, 15, 20 years, it matters. And usually, here's the thing, it really is just like a 2 or 3 year window that if you can just pour on the gasoline and do what you need to do for a very short period of time, it affects that entire 10, 15 year, 20 year window substantially. So please, please, please let Kelly, and I believe her name was E.G.
Yeah.
I like that. Let that be your inspiration. If you've been on the fence, come on, get started today.
Hey guys, Dave Ramsey here. Every day on this show, we help people work through real money problems and figure out what to do next. Now, you can get that same kind of help anytime with Ask Ramsey. Ask your money question and get answers built on Ramsey principles we use on the show. Whether you're making a decision or just want something explained, Ask Ramsey is here to help. It's fast, simple, and free to use. Go to RamseySolutions.com and try Ask Ramsey today. That's RamseySolutions.com.
All right, our Ramsey scripture and quote of the day. Proverbs 12:11 says, "Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense." Thomas Jefferson said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have." So good. All right, Adam is in Detroit, Michigan. Adam, how can we help today?
Hi. So I am in an interesting situation. I have a job offer which would move me out of state into Indiana, where we are looking to sell our house and use the money from our house for debts and then live with my in-laws for a couple months. And I just kind of wanted to get your opinion and some non-biased thoughts on if this is a good idea or what should I be thinking about financially.
The first question was, if you use the money to pay off the debt, why wouldn't you just rent an apartment or rent a house? Why would you have to live with the in-laws?
They have a very big house. It would save us additional money where we could basically put my entire check to the side, where we wouldn't be, spending just to spend. That's why I don't want to get into renting again. I think it would.
How much debt do you guys have, Adam?
Including my student loans, about $40,000.
Okay, and how much would this, if you did, was it you were selling?
Correct.
And how much would you get from that?
I would say after the sale of the house and realtor fees and all that, probably about $90K.
Okay.
Okay.
So you clear the debt and you're left with $50. That's your emergency fund. And
how much do you guys make a year?
I'm sorry?
How much do you make a year?
I make $100,000.
Why don't y'all just pay off the $40,000 and stay in your home?
Well, the job moves me.
Oh, that's right. You said
moving.
that. Oh, I'm sorry. You were moving. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so once you take the job, you'll be making $100,000. You'll have no debt plus $50,000, part of which would be your emergency fund. How old are you guys?
We're both 29. We turned 30 this year.
Do you have kids?
We have 3 kids.
Oh, man. I just can't see why you would need to live with family, because you'll have no debt. You'll have plenty of savings. Get your own spot.
Are you guys familiar with the area? Like, would you want to know when you buy a house where you want to be?
Yeah. So, I mean, I went to college in the area. My wife is from the area originally.
Okay.
So we're very familiar. We have a lot of family and friends in the area.
Okay. Do you?
My main thought was to, take a couple months to basically save up for 20% down on a house that we want.
And how long would you be there? Would you say?
We said max 6 months. Okay. And that's why I want to be smart about how much I pay off versus how much I keep to the side.
Here's where we always, I feel like, I don't know, especially Jade and I feel like we're on the same page with this. While we always kind of caution against the idea of just moving back home or moving in with, the family. Because for the most of the time, people just have this vague idea, hey, I'm going to move back home to pay off debt. And then you dig into the numbers and they've been home for 6 months. Like, well, how much are you saving? Like, well, I've actually gone $2,000 in credit card debt or whatever. And you're like, how have you gone in debt when you're living at home and you're saving money? Because they don't really do it, right? They just kind of have this idea of it. It's not driven. It's not specific. There's not a timeline. So the only reason I would somewhat entertain it for you guys in this situation is it's short enough. It's 6 months. And to move somewhere and move out and get a 6-month lease, might be somewhat of a headache. You know what you're going to be putting away. And I would just say, if you choose to do this, be diligent about it, because I do think living with family over the long term, it just can erode the, you know what I mean? There's a tension point to it.
And it's 5 of y'all. That's a lot.
Yeah. So if you guys know for sure, there's an end timeline. It's no more than 6 months. We're going to because we're moving anyways. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I would be somewhat okay with it, Adam. But again, you guys have to be diligent, because some people get in these situations and more than what we see, they just get lazy about it.
Sure.
And they don't really put what they think they're going to put away and all of it. So you just have to be diligent. That's my word of caution.
Yeah. I think the one thought process we had is my entire check, which is about $6,000 a net a month.
Mm-hmm.
I would set the entire $6,000 off to the side. It would just go into a separate account with the $50K that we have left over.
Yeah.
And my wife's account would pay for the car payments and the car insurance and all that stuff.
Car payments. I thought that you would be totally debt free.
I have 2 leases, so those I didn't include those in the $40,000.
When are those leases up?
Her lease is up in May, and then mine has another 2 years on it.
Are y'all gonna be paying for it to own the car? Or are you guys just done after the lease and have to buy a new car?
We talked about possibly buying out her lease on her car, and then
so
those from that mine.
Those obviously add to the timeline. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I would sit and plan that out, because obviously my next question for you before you said the lease was going to be, how much do you need to save up for this down payment? Like, what's the exact number, and run that back. But now you have to add in, okay, what is it going to cost to possibly buy out these leases? Or what's it going to cost at the end of the lease to now buy something in cash, right? So those are real numbers in the higher thousands to be aware of. And that could really set this on a longer journey. So if you had to spitball it right now, what would you say the cost car-wise is going to be for you guys?
It's a great question. I know, our monthly payments right now is about $800 between the 2 cars.
Between the 2? Okay, so your wife's is over in May. I mean, that's creeping up here in a little bit. What do you think you'll do? I mean,
go buy a $6,000 car with one of your month's paychecks.
Yeah, I mean, But that, to my point, I guess what I'm saying here, to my point, is that's the sort of thing, if you're living with in-laws, it could be really easy to say, oh, well, we'll just, and end up spending more on a car because you don't have any other, right?
Expenses,
There's no parameter to keep you in line. So just be aware of that. If I had to vote for this, and I think Rachel and I are split, if I had to vote for it, I think I'd vote no. I think I'd vote rent somewhere and decide if you like the area and be on your own with your 3 kids. But if you didn't do that, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, the decision's not going to make or break you. It just could create bad habits, though, that you don't even realize, because the lifestyle creep that could happen, again, hypothetical, but you're not paying for the it's just it's just that ongoing, which you guys know. You're adults, Adam. I mean, you guys have done you've been homeowners. You know the deal. But it's just getting lazy on any of the numbers, and then actually pushing things that you wouldn't have pushed otherwise, like getting a nicer car that you wouldn't have done if you were paying rent, paying bill, like living in reality.
It changes the numbers.
You're going to be living in reality, hopefully in 6 to 8 months. When you have a house. But making sure always too, Adam, that you guys have that emergency funds and all of it. So there's some steps, and that may push the timeline. So yeah, you and your wife.
That's the homework, is figuring out create real numbers. Don't just make it something up in the clouds. Say tonight or sit down this weekend and say, okay, lease is coming up in May. What's the plan? What are we going to spend? And make a hard, concrete number. And then decide about your lease and say, are we really going to ride this car payment thing out for 2 more years? Or, can we buy this thing out? Decide and figure out whatever research, due diligence you have to do, get that actual number. And then from there, it's then saying, okay, realistically in this area, to get the payment underneath 25% of our take-home pay, what must our down payment be? And you might look at that number and go, oh gosh, in order for us to do that,
is going to take longer.
That could be like 10 months, or that could be like 14 months. And then that might cause you to pull back a little bit and decide, do we really want to live with in-laws for over a year?
Yep.
So I can just see this snowballing really quickly. So just be on top of it.
Yeah. And the hard thing with lease cars too is usually, not always, you usually can afford a lease payment of a nicer car than if you got a car payment, right? And so even the type of car you guys, if you don't do the buyout that you're going to get, it may not be as nice as the current car you're driving too. So just be thinking through kind of the scenario, and don't let your lifestyle creep, outweigh smart decisions.
So true. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. And remember, there's ultimately one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.